Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at BNB, just kind of getting quick perspective on, well, why I sent out my signal earlier, as well as the simple fact that it's important to check this out. I've gotten a lot of requests for this based on its increase and how well it's doing. It's recovering quite nicely, obviously filling that gap here from previous. So again, at this point, we're just going to take a look at a handful of best practice and obviously some technical analysis, kind of go from there. If you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, I hope you can learn something here today. If you do, comment below, let me know. If so, that's great. If you want to become a better trader, of course, CryptoCache.tech is a website, link in the description below. I do offer a trading academy, community, and signal group, so be free to check that out and reach out to me if you have any questions. Now, BNB here, performing interestingly. It's done very well for itself on the recent past. We've got this, well, you could say it's a, I don't really like to call it a cup and handle because that's like a super tiny handle. It would be hard to get your finger in there, but generally speaking, we do have this increase where the price action comes up to a specific key level resistance, rejects out a few times, and then of course comes back to retest. Usually the retest will break. Oftentimes when it comes up like this and has this kind of momentum, and it has a lot of other complementing factors. So we'll look at that too. Here's something to note as well. RSI is a bit on the overextended side, but I don't mind seeing that on the daily because sometimes when you break through a key level resistance and or an all-time high, it'll break above 70 and stay above for a long time. So we want to kind of wait this one out in that sense as far as what that's going to do. Is that going to work as resistance or not? But the likelihood of it breaking to the upside based on the fact that we have higher lows, not only on the price action, but we also have higher lows forming on the RSI as well. So again, positive stuff there, mostly good. There's really nothing else that I can say that's disadvantageous, except for the fact that the 200-day slip moving average is trending right around 340. So obviously don't get too crazy or lofty with your profit targets if you're to take entry on this one. Something to consider. But again, most everything here on the daily is looking fairly good. What about the 4-hour? How does that look as well? Well, we're trending positively above the 50-day SMA once more, kind of continuing that ascending trend. We can see this 200-day SMA, of course, working concurrent with this trend line too. So, a lot of good reiterations of the fact that we're on the right side of tracks and the price action should likely continue higher until we break down below those levels. All right. Again, higher lows are very important on momentous trends. Higher highs are not necessarily the most important thing, which obviously right here we can see there is not higher highs, but what that does, it typically leads to a wedge pattern breakout. And oftentimes when you have higher highs and of course higher lows, that pushes it through. But at this point, higher lows are going to get us there because we're retesting that key level resistance. Okay, again, looking fairly nice here for BNB. I think it's looking pretty good. Another thing here, of course, as well, is that we have a nice strong convergence on the MACD that occurred roughly about 4 to 8 hours ago. Okay, so positive there. Price action back up over 50 on the RSI too. Bitcoin's exuding a lot of similar behavior here, and obviously that's the main catalyst here. Bitcoin has like 9 out of 10 green lights for it right now as far as taking a long position. And why wouldn't BNB retest this resistance here at 298, 299 and break through? It seems very likely we're going to see 300 plus. That is just, again, what I'm seeing here so far for BNB. The TA looks very nice. Moving on to the hourly, this is where we want to make sure to confirm if we are above the cloud or not, which we absolutely are. And again, another reason why I added took a position here today, even once it broke this little resistance here, because ultimately, not only did it break that resistance, we've been above the cloud for some time, and Bitcoin is pushing right now to try to break it as well. It's retesting it multiple times, and obviously it's looking pretty good. If you want to take a quick look here, is what I'm referring to. Because even though we don't have full-on confirmation from Bitcoin, there's a lot of other factors that are factoring in. And if you take a look here, you can see that majority of the cloud here is broken, but we're not quite there yet. But it'll naturally be there in another few hours, obviously, if we can continue to maintain this price point and break through this key level resistance. But again, it's retesting this level 5, 6, 7 times over. And it's really important to recognize that BNB will likely follow suit. Only in essence, 2x right now, because it is moving roughly 2 times greater than Bitcoin. So again, just some things to kind of think about, but there's literally nothing here on BNB that tells us it wants to turn around. Obviously, there's a key level resistance that is trying to break through and hasn't officially yet at roughly 300. But until we get there, why not take some profits between 295 and 300, right? I think our profit target's at 297. We're halfway there already. So again, good stuff here from BNB. I think it's going to continue. The only thing that would be disadvantageous just to recognize is that we are in somewhat of an overtime here. which doesn't necessarily mean a lot on the 1 hour. If we see this on the 4 hour, it'd be a different story. But on the 4 hour, we're only at a 7. Now I say only at a 7 because that could, the next 8 hours will really help us understand where we're going to be here soon. So in 8 hours from now, we might want to have a different conversation, but for the most part, we're getting slightly overextended. We're closer to RSI on the daily, but everything else is pushing, everything else is going well, okay? I would say the more positive than negative here is the fact that we have the price action above some key level resistances, as well as the fact that we're kind of retesting that resistance level and Bitcoin is likely to break out. Those are all reasons why I feel BNB will continue to progress higher and hit our targets. Again, just something to think about. This is the TA that I go through personally. These are all the things that I look at when I make my decisions. Obviously, you want to take a combination of everything you've learned from each time frame and apply it, right? Because you don't just take entry on one indicator. Okay, MACD convergence, good to go. Don't do that. You want to make sure you look at everything possible and kind of make an evaluated decision here. And honestly, I would say not everything is showing us that it wants to continue higher, but majority of the important ones are. Yes, we're slightly overextended on the daily and of course the 1 hour time frame, but that doesn't matter too much in the sense of how cryptocurrency works and the fact that the catalyst for BNB is Bitcoin doing well. And Bitcoin is doing well and will likely continue to progress higher. Again, a lot of my altcoin decisions are derived from Bitcoin analysis. So make sure you understand what Bitcoin's doing on a daily. It's kind of the big dog. I mean, I know a lot of alts will surge regardless, but for the most part, if Bitcoin's having a bad day, most alts will too. I'm sure you figured that out by now. Just something to think about. All right, so that's all I got here. No need to go on, continue on any further. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. If you do want to become a better trader, again, CryptoCache.tech is the site. I look forward to working with you. We have a lot of new members coming over. Really awesome to see. All right, have a good one. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.